Got to do a mic check and all that other stuff. I'm up here putting stuff in, sharing. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
hear
you
you really well.
sound
Hear you
good.
really well.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm doing great, family. You know what I mean? You know, carrying the energy. You know what I mean?
What's been going
Indeed.
on with you, man? I ain't talked to you in a little minute.
Yeah.
What's give us an update on what's been going on with Mr. Carper?
So, update since last year. It's
Yeah,
been probably like a year since I talked to you. So I've been here in Georgia for a while, for about a year, and just trying to expand the business family. A lot of ups and downs. We tried the brick and mortar for a little bit. Um, there were some things about that I didn't like, that we both didn't like, and that's okay. In your journey, um, you know, it's just you just. I'm just going to say, just be careful what you ask for and what you wish for, because it could come up like that. It can manifest like that, and then you might find out that it's not what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? I just been getting back to just trying to free my time. You know what I'm saying? Time is very valuable, man. Time is short. You know what I'm saying? So on my journey, I've been, of course, I got the book out, Soulistic Healing. But ever since the book, I was trying to create a course, man. You know what I'm saying? A course that would free up a lot of my time. So I made a school, an online school. It's called Soulistic Wisdom Temple. Okay. Now this school is my life's work. It's everything that anybody could ever ask me is in there. So if anybody wants to learn anything, because I get that question a lot, like, where you be getting this information? And besides the fact that I've been on this journey for 13 years, um, it's been well documented. You know what I'm saying? Every part of that experience. So if people want to get in and learn what I learned, that this is the way to do it. I got 5 courses in there, 5 full certification courses in there that you can learn about herbalism. You can learn about your body. You can learn, the lifestyle that it takes after you get the information. How do you actually start helping people? How do you start applying the knowledge? There's so many courses in there that I'm proud of, because I thought of every aspect, and it took a lot of trial and error, it took a lot of failing, because it was something that I wanted to do without using a lot of AI or using a lot of tools. I just wanted to gather every aspect of what I knew, all my studies, all my research, and I wanted to put it into a course, a school. So when I got done at the end of it, it was 5 different separate courses. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very proud of them. So that's what you're going to see. You're going to see me pouring a lot into that. I stepped back from social media a lot. Social media, to be honest with you, man, it's got real weird. It's got real cult like over the last year. And I don't care what people say, man. When you're affected by that, you're affected when you're on social media and you see what people are saying and you see this stuff all day. You're going to be affected one way or another, because I'm a true believer in, yo, out here, attention is currency. So you're either out there and you're being the energy, and you're finding something useful and finding ways to grow, or you're the listener. You're the one out there following people and trying to find something to attach yourself to. I believe that. I'm a true believer in that. That those are the 2 things that you can be doing on social media. Just like we was talking about before that. Before we got on, we was talking about AI. It can be a very useful tool, and it's a very tough position for people to be in. If you don't use that AI, you're gonna get left of you're gonna get left the hell behind. But and if you are using it all the time, then you know what I'm saying. How much of your brain capacity are you actually using? How much are you really helping yourself? How much are you really setting it up for your future self to be successful? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's all I've been doing is just continuing the journey. Um, I've always said it was important to stay close to your practice, right? So if you're not practicing what you're talking about, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I've been just growing that aspect, questioning things, noticing the patterns, and just enjoying the journey, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
Indeed. Fire, super fire. You said a lot of things in there that we got to touch
I
on.
know.
A lot
I got to stop myself sometimes.
No. There's a lot of good shit though. A lot of good shit. Cam, what up though? You and Tiger. Talk to me about how y'all connected. Talk a little bit about what y'all got going on.
Yeah, for sure. I got to Tiger actually through your community. I think I had saw him do a live with you and saw that he had herbal products, and linked up with him, did a consultation and everything. And yeah, I've been getting herbs from Tiger for probably 2 years now, and they're amazing. And I definitely plan on continuing to use them, just as both supplementation and detox, whenever is necessary. So yeah, it's been a great sort of addition to like my lifestyle, particularly when I'm traveling a lot. Like I'm super grateful to have them, like when I'm on the road and are in places where I don't really have access to all the sort of, ideal food that, like a fruit-based eater like myself, would have access to. So, it's good to sort of have things that can kind of keep you, in your zone and on your toes, and sort of at your best, when you're not in a place that's sort of abundant. So, yeah.
Yeah, herbs.
Yeah.
I was always one of the people who came online, fruit up, you don't need herbs, all of that. We know my story about herbs.
Yeah.
But Tiger is the man of the hour when it comes to the herbs. How it talk about Tiger, the state of the community, man. Like you said, you talked a little bit about online, right? But online health community in particular. What have you been seeing in your dealings with the people and your like consultations and engagement with people? What's the state of the community that you in?
That's a great question. I feel like it's divided, just like the rest of the world, man. You know what I mean? It just because it's put into a category, I feel like it's hugely divided, because there's no foundation. You know what I'm saying? I believe, like, think about foundation. Like anything that doesn't have a foundation, you're just gonna be blown in the wind. You know what I mean? So on a place where it's an online forum where you literally can talk about anything and say anything that you want. There's so many mixed opinions on so many things. Like we as a health community can't even agree on certain things. You know what I'm saying? So, in my understanding, because I don't know if you guys know, but I've been studying a lot of psychology, right? There's a lot of great things happening in the community, especially if they're just fruiting up, right? If they're just eating fruits, and a lot of changes happen in your life, right? But there are a lot of things that people don't talk about. When people come on and they're talking about their health journey and they're talking about fruits and stuff, you very rarely see, the loneliness that comes with that. Loneliness because you're basically an outcast. You're a rebel. You're going against the system. You're going against, social opinion. You're going against everything that you've known up to that point. So you got to be strong for that. Okay, if you're the people pleasing type and you're not the standalone type, and you're easy to lead, following opinions and stuff like that, you're going to have a mess because there's a bunch of opinions. Everybody got one online. So you got to be strong minded. Okay, so how do influencers build up a big following? A lot of them got the cult mentality. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be real. Some of these groups are like cults now, bro. They only got their philosophy. their one way of doing things, and if you don't do things according to what they say, then there's a rebel right there in your community, somebody that's going against what your cause is or what you're trying to do. Not only that, I believe, like I said, I study a lot of psychology. I think a lot of people, they're suffering from some type of mental illness, to be straight up with you. It happens whenever you change your lifestyle into, just imagine waking up and just realizing that everything that you was told in your life was a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, once you become awake and you start seeing patterns, you start seeing these things in yourself, and you start seeing these things in people that's close to you. So then, you don't even want to be around certain people, or you don't even want to link up with certain people. And they're all minor things to why people don't associate with people no more. Some people, like, it could be as simple as, in our community, oh, you eat seedless watermelon. I can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I mean, I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you got it right.
It can be as simple as the raw versus cooked food debate. It can be as simple as me taking herbs. You say a lot of stuff that makes sense, but you take herbs, and I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And like, let me go back to the thing that I think is messing with most people. All right. So when people start healing, right, and they do one thing right, they tend to identify with that one thing, right? So anything outside of that, it doesn't compute with them. There's some people that start healing and they don't even know how to be in their healed state because they've never been that person before. You know what I'm saying? For example, there's a lot of people, I don't want anybody to take offense to this, but there's a lot of people that's been big the most of their life, right? They start fruiting up, or they get in a group with Bobby, or they get with me in coaching, they lose a lot of weight. They start feeling good. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens is, now all of a sudden, they want to start coaching and teaching themselves just because they feel better, because they got some healing done in their life. You know what I'm saying? So that's natural to want to help people. But what most people are experiencing is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you never heard of it, you should look it up. A lot of people, they accomplish one thing, and then automatically they think they're an expert at this subject or this thing. So they start putting other people down. You know what I'm saying? They start telling people what they're doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Instead of focusing on their journey. And I think that's a problem with a lot of people, because that's just the first part of the journey. Figuring out what to eat and what to put in your body is just one aspect of a whole soulistic. Yeah, I said soulistic. It's not holistic anymore. I took it over. It's soulistic. Soulistic approach is you got to look at all angles. All things are important whenever you're talking about health. Whenever you're talking about health, you're talking about, are you exercising right? Or what's your activity level like? Because most of the time, our activity level, it predicts our input. You know what I'm saying? It's not the other way around. You don't eat something and be like, oh, I got enough energy today, I think I'm going to go take a run. You know what I'm saying? It's the other way around. You ran, okay, and your body lets you know, like, oh, okay, I need something to replenish what you burned. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of, I think it's a lot, when it gets down to it, I think the community is a lack of awareness, okay, in stages. When you're doing the real shadow work, you realize that we are all reflections, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be you at any time, or you could be me at any time, or we should share those situations, but everybody's so divided. So that another reason why I spent a lot of time in creating this course, so we can have foundation. You know what I'm saying? At least the people that I deal with anyway, let's have foundation. Let's have agreeable things that we can agree with. Like, we can agree that everybody's we're all electrical beings, right? We can all agree on that. You know what I'm saying? Even allopathic medicine say the same thing. We electrical. We're all electrical. You know what I'm saying? So when you get down to that aspect and you start connecting the dots, a lot of things will start to make sense. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like we need to have more common ground, but you're talking about social media. You're talking about um, a, a, a social community, an online community where everybody has an opinion. They're always constantly bombarded by conflicting information. Everybody's scared to death right now because of, everybody thinks they're going to die from eating fruits and vegetables. You see what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, I mean, that's what I feel about the state of the community. I feel like a lot of people are, when you don't have foundation, you're open to anything. Just like what's the one saying that they say? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I think in the health community, I think anything goes. And what it really is at the core is people are finding out what I found out a long time ago. There's many different ways to achieve health. You know what I'm saying? But most of them are nature. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get back to nature. That's one thing that we can all agree on is that nature heals and it provides. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to replace nature with God, the universe, or whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? We're all basically saying the same thing. So I think the community would be a lot better if we can find some things that are agreeable instead of always looking for a way to say I'm better than you.
That's super interesting. Actually, me and Bobby, I think last week we were just talking about sort of like the categorization of groups and sort of how divided online is and how sort of creators in certain spaces like that have certain viewpoints, they kind of form these sort of like cults as you sort of described, and what it kind of does is it kind of prevents them from sort of showcasing other aspects of their life, because like for all of them, like they have so many other aspects of their life. Like there has to be like just more to who people's beings are than, a belief about a certain subject or a diet or a way of exercise and things like that. And so I mean, I think like, and the people who are really winning are the ones who are sort of showcasing everything and sort of making it like a real experience and an authentic, utilizing their, I guess, platform in a sort of creative way that's sort of true to who they are, encapsulating sort of all different sides. So, I mean, it's kind of revealing. I mean, we're kind of the first one experiencing sort of this amount of content, this amount of opportunity for people to be able to create this type of content and share this type of information at this type of speed. So it's like the first time it's really happening like this. So yeah, it's interesting how I think people sort of learn from what's been going on, particularly recently. So yeah, no, that's a dope observation.
It's a fact.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Ain't it wild how everybody has the answers all of a sudden now that we have all these AI services, Chat GPT, Gemini, and all this stuff. Now everybody has the answers now.
No, I said it online. I said it one time that I took a little flack for it, but I don't mind. What they say, I said I will never join a community where a fat person is the leader. Like, think about that. Like, I didn't see people lose a little bit of weight and start running challenges.
Man, like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it muddies the waters. It really does muddy the waters, because now it's about, I'll join yours because I like him better. I like this person better. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it becomes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the reason why I started talking about foundation. It's important, especially this age we're entering with AI. You gotta have foundation to you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, like for an example, you're asking AI a question. Like I used to beef with AI heavily. You know what I'm saying? And I know you said there's newer updates and everything, but I used to beef with it because I used to get down to the core of where they're getting their sources from. Like, where you getting your information from? Oh, so you're pulling this information from a set of pages or allowed information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you and AI giving me an opinion on the information. I don't think you should say this because it hasn't been confirmed by who? You know what I'm saying? The same people that doesn't want the information to get out, the same people that run these pages and these media outlets. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to be careful about vilifying one thing or another. You know what I'm saying? Because just like we talked, AI can be very helpful in your life. You know what I'm saying? But the overuse of it can be harmful. You know what I'm saying? Um, Good, healthy foods can be great in your life. You know what I'm saying? It can change your whole lifestyle, right? The overabundance of them, you know what I'm saying, could diminish your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I believe that's what every experience, you know what I'm saying? Like when we're talking about any subject, you're more talking about balance, you know what I'm saying? Because without one, there is no other. You know, when we talk about contrasting situations and information. And of course, you guys that are a little bit more awake and aware, we've always known this was coming. You know what I'm saying? I was having a conversation with a client the other day, and I was like, do you think like people like us and people like Bobby and people like Kev and putting this information out and putting it out by abundance and showing people, do you think it kind of prepared them for where to go next? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't think they're listening to that and like seeing how health it all of a sudden they don't got as many clients no more. Coming into their doctor's office, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, uh there's more fruits and stuff being bought from the grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? More people are being demanding, supply and demand. They're saying, yo, we got to get these watermelon in here in these stores. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to keep buying from you, you got to get these good fruits. You got to get some stuff that I'm buying, some stuff that fits my lifestyle. I kind of feel like, those same, the same people that are against that, they kind of allow that for a while. So then they know what their counter is, you know what I'm saying? And then they know what to say, you know what I'm saying? And they know where to hit you and they know how to keep you in control, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, in a way, it's a good way. Social media is a good way to wake a lot of people up, but it can be a way that, you gotta know if you're going to be putting this information out that you're basically painting a target on your back as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just finish that statement with this. And this is real talk. I was talking a couple of years ago when I had one of your interviews, and I was talking about the dead internet, right? Mm-hmm. The dead internet theory is not a theory anymore. There's officially now more bots online than there are actual people. You know what I'm saying? Like let that sink in. You know what I'm saying? Like there's profiles out there, you know what I'm saying? They got like 500, 600 people, and they're completely AI, you know what I'm saying? And you just allow them into your friendship zone, and they're keeping tabs on you, straight up, you know what I'm saying? And they report their information and their findings into another database, you know what I'm saying? And that's how they know what they have to block, what they have to block out. They can't allow this type of information to take over. They can't allow people to start taking control of their own health. They can't allow people to say, I ain't going to the doctors. I'm gonna take care of this diagnosis by myself. They can't allow something like that happen if they want to remain in control and be able to keep the lies buried. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta, as been running these programs, right? Like the online scene, like you say, it's diluted, it's division all over the place. And we've all played some part in our, division in these things, right? But when it comes to executing, I think when do we put, how much of the responsibility is on the people, right? Because like right now, what I've been seeing is people know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's no, this ain't 2008 where we didn't know we supposed to be eating fruits, there's herbs available. So how much of the responsibility is on the people opposed to what they're putting out?
Well,
right.
When you're entering into that type of agreement, like, you know, if you're going to be an influencer, right? You know, so people are going to be they're going to be giving you their money for your opinion and for you to tell them what's right, what's wrong, what they should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So when you enter into that type of contract, whether it's verbal or not, then you do hold some of that responsibility. Okay, but that is another great question because that's just for the information part. That's just for the information and maybe a little bit of motivation. Okay. And we just talked about how information is available by just the touch of any one of us can just touch a button right now and ask a question and we can get an extensive answer to what we want. Right. But it always comes back to what I just said. The foundation, you know what I'm saying? Foundations are things that we can agree on. You know what I'm saying? What looks the same in everything? You know what I'm saying? What can't they can't help but to avoid it and talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be a health coach of any kind, you better be talking about fruits. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not talking about fruits, then you gotta angle that you're trying to exploit. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta say what it is and you have to be truthful. You know what I'm saying? But now for the accountability, it's 100% up to them. 100. Okay, because information is everywhere. But it's up to you to question, to test it, to apply it, and to, you know what I mean, being able to observe the information to see if it's working, seeing if you can use it. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, then you have to be motivated enough to apply it. You know what I'm saying? That's still one of my running themes, bro. And I added a few more. But if I got to chase you down, which it means I got to call you and you're dodging me and you hired me as your coach, then you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? If I got to call you, you're not ready. That'd be like your doctor, right? Your primary care doctor, right? You made an appointment to come into the doctor, right? And the day of your appointment, he calling you like, yo, you still coming in? Yo, we need you to come in, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Are you still eating them? Are you still eating them vegetables and fruits and stuff that I told you about? Come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, no, your doctor don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And you still pay them heavily. And you still listen to them heavily. And you still count on their opinion heavily. You see what I'm saying? So what does it tell you? That responsibility falls on you. And doctors know that. You know what I'm saying? They make you sign something that says, oh, yeah, we going to do this. But if this happens, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of have to be the same. You know what I'm saying? As health teachers and health influencers, we kind of have to be the same. You know what I'm saying? All we can really do.
And so you mentioned the fruits, and like earlier you were talking a little bit about balance, and like you were putting sort of an emphasis on balance.
Yeah.
So I was curious what your relationship is with sort of that balance as you've sort of been kind of navigating through this lifestyle. And because like Fruit Up right now, Bobby's community is sort of making a big shift where it's fruit up till 5. So that it gives a lot more leeway. And it's more about sort of allowing people to find a way for this lifestyle that we're on, this plant-based experience, this high fruit plant-based experience to make sense for them. Right. So being who you are, herbalist and you work directly with clients, like based on your perspective, your experience, what would you say is sort of the best way to achieving balance on a fruit-based lifestyle?
Well, first of all, a fruit-based lifestyle.
Are herbs like a requirement of that, I guess? Yeah.
Well, first of all, when you're talking about balance, you're talking about homeostasis. You're talking about your system running at its optimal level, right? So what is the best way to do that? So let me bring it back to, like I said, some things we can agree on. We're all electrical beings, right? We're all electrical. Like I shared a video last week, stay with me on this. I shared a video last week where I talked about you stick one copper rod in the ground, and you stick one zinc rod in the ground, and then you add some water to it, and that was the first like battery, right? Because one of the like one copper wants to attract ions, right? And then you got zinc, which wants to get rid of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a perfect combination. It's a perfect balance to create electricity, right? So, so when you're talking about electricity, what are those things that we need? We talked about minerals. You know what I'm saying? We have to eat those same minerals. You know what I'm saying? First of all, they're in the ground. First of all, they're responsible for the life of the plant. Those same minerals that we talk about that generate batteries, those are the same ones that are found in our food, that are found in us. And they're the ones that create electrical signal. I don't think nobody can argue with that. You go into the hospital and ask them, you know what I'm saying? They're not just dissecting you right away, right? They use electrical machines to be able to read what's going on inside of our electrical bodies. EKG machines, EEG machines, MG machines, to measure your muscle activity and spasms and things like that. So that tells you they're using things that you would think were a robot hooked up in there with all the electrical machines that they read. What do they use to zap you back to life whenever you go lifeless? Do they inject electricity in you to try to start your heart? So those are things that we can all agree on. We're electrical beings, right? So when you talk about electrical beings, what do you want to do? Do you want to get the best electrical food for your body to sustain that, to sustain your energy? Yes. So obviously, let's get this out of the way. Obviously, the best optimal foods we should be eating to consume most of our diet should be fruits, okay? I'm saying fruits in particular because I have a problem with people eating raw vegetables. You know what I'm saying? I got a problem with me eating raw vegetables. I don't have so much of a problem with other people eating raw vegetables, but when you come into my coaching, and I'm just going to be honest with people, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they struggle mightily when they start eating a lot of these other raw foods, these other raw vegetables. You see what I'm saying? Because, then you're talking about anti-nutrients in the food, okay? Talking about anti-nutrients, foods that are, because, let me back up a sec. Okay, so we can eat a lot of foods that have a lot of minerals in them, right? But that does not mean that we are absorbing it. I think a lot of people are having absorption problems, you know what I'm saying? And that could be food combining, wrong combinations, and what most people call raw vegans. Raw vegans, they eat a lot of this stuff, this Swiss chard, beets, greens, all this stuff. They all have oxalates in it, spinach, tannins, all these things, right? That they seriously block your absorption. You know what I'm saying? So you're really not getting the minerals you think you're getting. And this is a problem only found with raw vegans. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I'm just going to be 100% honest.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you say that, because the only time I've been to the hospital, like in the last probably 5 years, was I had an allergic reaction to raw shiitake mushrooms. And I broke out and I had to get a steroid shot. Wow. So that's so crazy that you talk about like nobody really talks about that, like certain foods that aren't necessarily meant to be eaten raw, and kind of like the warnings that go with that, because you really have to know plants. Like at that point, like you got to be a damn near a botanist to really know sort of how.
Not really. Think of it like this, Cam. Think of it like this, okay? Anti-nutrients. We're talking about the stuff people like to add on to the vegan diet. You know what I'm saying? Before, I would say Orville and then Bobby and everybody started coming talking about this fruit movement. I knew a lot of vegans that struggle, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they're eating these raw things. They're eating tomatoes raw. You're not supposed to be eating tomatoes raw, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're eating a lot of, you know, potatoes and, like I said, grains, nuts, seeds. All these things they contain some level of anti-nutrients in it. Okay, so this is another reason, man. We got to go back to we've been saying that we say our ancestors are so dumb, right? These are the same ancestors that built structures that they can't still duplicate today, and we still think they're dumb. You know what I'm saying? We still think they don't know what the hell they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors have been cooking foods for thousands of years, bro. They have been cooking food for thousands of years because they understood, like, man, if we don't eat this, we're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you notice here in America, even today in this day, not every state gets the best fruit. Not every state is gonna if your soil is trash, everything you grow in that state is going to be trash because it's just what I talked about. If the soil doesn't have nutrients, the plants that we eat are not going to have the nutrients. I don't care what it is. It's not going to be. It's going to be lacking in nutrients. You know what I'm saying? And then we eat that, and then now all of a sudden we're nutrient deficient. You know what I'm saying? You think the people who supply most of these grocery stores are worried about that? No, they're worried about how much they can produce and how long it can stay, you know, in decent sellable form before they sell it. And then after they sell it, they don't give a shit what happens to it. Their job is just to get it to the store and get you to spend your money for it. They don't care what happens after that. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, but bring me back. I can go off in a tangent sometime, man.
That's dope. That's dope. I mean, and that's super interesting talking about like foods that are meant to be cooked and how, you know,
right.
We've sort of adapted to,
right.
You know, like you said, right. Our ancestors have been cooking certain things.
Right. So I just remembered your question. So when you talk about balance, especially for people in my group, you know what I'm saying? You have to let them experience things. Okay. So one thing that I do, and this is just a tip for anybody, it's not important information or anything. Everybody should know this. Don't try to change what they eat first. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not one of the first things that you should change. Okay. You should change their times that they eat. Okay. So whenever I start somebody off, I put them off on intermittent fasting because, you know what I'm saying? It's about giving your body the best chance to break down its foods, you know what I'm saying? And being able to use that into usable energy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. So once they understand that, then you got to understand, you got to add more fruits to your diet. You know what I'm saying? You got to add more hydration to your diet. You know what I'm saying? I usually add more hydration to people's diets before I start telling them what they can eat, right? And then I change their schedule. I give them an intermittent fasting window, give them an 8-hour window, right? That they can eat, right? See if they can just hold to that, you know, because if you can't hold to, if I tell you can eat whatever you want and you just got to eat it within these times, right? And you still eating after that time, you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? You gotta come to grips with that. Addiction, if you deny that you're addicted, you're not going to make it. That's with any addiction. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I do to get them into more of a balance is, I talk about this all the time, is circadian rhythm. You got to get into a rhythm. What time is our body's best for eating something? Probably around high noon to 2 p.m. You know what I'm saying? So you get your heaviest meals in at around that time, and you'll be able to use that energy for later on in the day. It'll be more sustainable. That's your metabolic period. You know what I'm saying? Where the sun is highest in the sky. Biologically, we're programmed to metabolize better around those times. You know what I'm saying? So I'll implement that first. And then once I implement that first, now we can start doing subtraction. All right. Let's start throwing out the things you know ain't good for you. Like that, the McDonald's trips are done. You know what I'm saying? After a while, I let you have fun for a couple of weeks, right? I didn't even tell you what you could eat. I just gave you an eating window. After a certain time, you know McDonald's is harming you. Don't be sending me articles about McDonald's talking about, oh, they giving human meat. And next thing you know, you have McDonald's. Oh, I had a cheat day with some chicken McNuggets. It doesn't make any sense logically. You see what I'm saying? You're not making any progress. You know what I'm saying? Mentally. So if So to achieve balance, you have to be mentally ready to move to the next level. And of course we know with every level comes new challenges. So I don't think people should tackle it all at once. You know what I'm saying? I think they should go at one step at a time. You know what I'm saying? Master that step before you move on. You know what I'm saying? And after you think about things that you can take away that is harming you, right? Then you're gonna, logically come to the next step is, okay, now what should I be putting in my body? What can I get? What can I absolutely not leave alone? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then and then after a while, you try to just eat less of that, right? Less of that, less of that. At the same time, you need to be thinking about a replacement. You know what I'm saying? This is addiction. You know what I'm saying? I know some people did it cold turkey. Y'all legends. You know what I'm saying? Bobby, Kevin, all these other people, y'all legends. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can do this shit cold turkey. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do because I know what I need to do for my health. That is great, okay? But that's just not reality. You know what I'm saying? That's not reality. That's usually not how addiction works. You're usually going to have to struggle with it for a while until you come to the grips that you're ready to leave it alone, and because you realize that it's really messing with your health. That's awareness. Once you become aware of that, then you have options. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Bobby was like, people know what the hell they be doing because they do. You know what I'm saying? They really do know what they're doing, but they need somebody to blame. I'm sorry to tell you. And if you're putting yourself out like a health coach, you're putting yourself out as an influencer, you're putting yourself out as something like that, they're going to hold you to it. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful on, allowing people to put the blame of their insecurities and what they can't do and try to place them upon you. You know what I'm saying? I think to achieve balance, you have to go through a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's what balance is. It's not perfection. Okay. It means you're going to have some mess ups. Okay. But you have to understand what you messed up on. And then you do your best to fix it. You know what I'm saying? When people are making promises, they're not making promises to me like, oh, Tiger, I'm definitely going to start my fast on Monday. I'm saying, okay. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. But if you don't start your fast on Monday, I'm not upset. I'm not calling you like, damn, bro, like what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. What you should be apologizing for is yourself. You made that promise to yourself that you was going to do that, right? So it's a reminder, you're letting yourself down. So I would say just take it easy. You know what I'm saying? And you already got a pre-program in your mind that you're going to be along for a long ride. On social media, we make it look easy. You know what I'm saying? We make it look easy. But it's not. You know what I'm saying? So to achieve balance, I think, the last part of that, I know people are like, all right, bro, so what can I eat? You know what I'm saying? So you make it mostly fruit based. You know what I'm saying? You can get everything that you need done with fruits. I've got everything I need to get done with just fruit juice because I understand electrolytes and I understand hydration and I understand every single process that you do. Everything you blinking right now, what's coming on this phone, everything requires energy. You know what I'm saying? There's a new study out that it shows people are more depleted because they're stressed out at their jobs than people that are out actually doing physical work. You know what I'm saying? The people that are sitting at the desk not doing a damn thing, they're more exhausted and depleted energy-wise because, they're constantly stressing and thinking, and the body's always trying to adapt to make up for that. You know what I'm saying? That's why stress can be a major killer. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say stress can kill you because it really can. You know what I'm saying? Trauma can kill you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not able to have that awareness and get over that, then trauma can kill you. So some things that I think that you should be, that most people should be eating to acquire balance, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to keep it 100 like I always have and say you need over 92 minerals a day. Okay. If you're not getting your minerals from the food that you're eating, then you should be supplementing. You should be taking some type of herb to make sure that you get the minerals. I don't care if you got to cook those minerals, right? Because all right, we touched cooked food, but we didn't get into it, right? one of the things that destroy anti-nutrients, right, is cooking food. Our ancestors discovered that a long time ago. Okay, better digestion. Because this is the real fact. I mean, I don't know if they say it on ChatGPT or not, but I know a couple years ago I used to Google it every year, and there's more minerals on average present in vegetables than it is in fruits, right? And I know why. I'm gonna keep it 100 because nutrients in the vegetables are for animals. You know what I'm saying? Animals can eat anti-nutrients. You know what I'm saying? They can do that, right? But here's the thing, another thing we got to be grateful for. I'm grateful that we are not no damn animals. Okay, everybody wants to compare us to animals. Everybody want to say, well, the animals don't do this, so we don't do that. We not no damn animals. Okay, we were given divine intelligence and dominion over the earth. Okay, so which means if I'm going to choose, you know, if ain't no fruits growing around here in winter, right? Ain't no fruit tree in 1,000 miles in the whole state. You know what I'm saying? And the places that are producing fruits in the wintertime, they ain't producing too much. You see what I'm saying? So if that tells me that I gotta cook a vegetable or steam some vegetables or put some vegetables together and to be able to get some nutrients out of my food, then that's what I'm going to do instead of dying. You know what I'm saying? That's the other option, or become deficient or become nutrient deficient and depleted in minerals. Okay. That's the other option that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people are comfortable now. They feel like, oh, there's food everywhere. You shouldn't be, you know, we're still in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? We really are. Most people are still in survival mode. It's just, it just looks different now, but everybody's locked in survival mode. We're on right now. That's why I got these blue light glasses on. You know what I'm saying? Because these LED lights and everything, they tell me that it's noon. You know what I'm saying? My body should be shifting rhythms right now and telling me like, yo, it's time to chill out. It's time to calm down. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the blue light, it spikes your blood pressure. It makes you anxious, right? It gets you up and going. And there's a purpose for it. There's a time for it. That's why I believe in circadian rhythm. But I know I drifted a little bit off track and off subject. But you know, I'm just putting it out.
I mean, you said a whole lot of interesting things. So so I mean, you feel like you definitely have a lot of knowledge about like what is meant to be eaten cooked versus not. So were you ever at any point eating all raw? And if
Absolutely.
so, like what was
Absolutely.
that experience like, and how did you go about like introducing cooked foods again?
Okay. That's a real good question. Y'all got some great questions for me today. So hell yeah, I was you know, at first you know, I know you asked me a little bit about my journey before, but well, it was with Monica, man. It was straight up with her. Like, I wasn't planning on changing anything about my lifestyle. I thought I was great. I didn't even realize most of these things that I was dealing with most things. But you know, with Monica, so first we ordered Dr. Sebi's herbs first, right? So in ordering his herbs and watching Dr. Sebi, I really wanted to try it. Whenever you got his herbs, it came with that little guide where it showed you what you can eat and what you should be consuming, what's alkaline and what's electric, right? So so right off the gate, man, I tried going raw, but I couldn't do it because I didn't like the vegetables. I couldn't eat any type of vegetables at the time. So I knew what the fruits were. So that's natural. You know, when we see something that's familiar, we gravitate towards that. So I started like eating the apples. There was a time where I was like maybe 15 days on just apples alone, starting out. You know what I'm saying? Apples mixed with juice here, mixed with a little water there. You have to experience these things in order to know, right? So I felt good.
The apples, were you trying to fruit fast, or were you just eating raw and didn't want to eat?
No, I was trying the Dr. Sebi way. Okay. But I wasn't familiar with the vegetables. So I wasn't even gonna mess with that, right? So I
Wow.
figured I was safe, right? So this is when I learned, like, okay, eating fruits, just fruits are okay. I learned that by experience. And then around the same time, I was reading Arnold Ehret's book, first the Rational Fasting book, and then the other one that came out after that. Um, so, you know, and he was talking about his experiences when he was visiting these tribes and he was eating raw fruits and stuff like that. And how he tried everything else and it just wasn't working. And then I started reading other books later on, like The Great Cure and things like that. So I knew fruits were the way, but I was still in denial. You know what I'm saying? I was more so like, all right, let me do this to be a great example for wifey because I know that's what she needs to do. And at the time, she could, you know, she was stuck on cheese and other things like that. You know what I mean? So I wanted to be the strong one and be like, all right, let's do this. And so I built myself some routines that I was able to do this. Okay, building yourself a rhythm and a routine is still something I stick to today. It was the very first thing that I tried. Every day I got up, I went straight to, it was called the Big Y. And they was selling tangerine juice and orange juice. It was straight on the bottle. It didn't have nothing else on the bottle. They juiced it fresh. You know what I'm saying? And they would have bottles there every day. And I did that for almost like a month. I just drank tangerine juice. You know what I'm saying? It was great with that. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like an experimental phase when I was wanted to eat fruits because I don't like to be limited. I don't like to be told what I can't consume and what I can't, right? So I kept trying things. It was trial and error. Then I tried to go back to, you know, eating some cooked things here and there. And, you know, I started physically feeling like I was letting myself down physically. You know what I'm saying? Because like I talk all the time, the body adapts. Okay. The body adapts. If you eat enough fruits and you're consistent with it, your body will adapt to that. And then it comes down to a couple different factors. It comes down to your activity level and your age and how much output, how much energy are you expending? Okay. It comes, you know, a lot is about that. So it was a lot of experimentation with me. So yeah, I was on raw foods. Well, I would just say fruit because I never really got one. Even nowadays, bro, when Monica makes a salad, most of the time, there's very little lettuce in there. There's like maybe some romaine sometimes, you know, but most of the time, when I say I have a salad, my last salad, I can tell you what I had. It was an stuffed avocado salad, right? So it had avocado, it had cucumbers, it had olives in it, and you know, we'll just stop right there. That's basically a fruit salad, bro. You see what I'm saying? That's a fruit salad. So we're still talking about fruits even when we're talking about salads. That's what makes, I can't eat a salad if it doesn't have cucumbers, if it doesn't have you know, I love olives. I love black olives, and you know, they're stone fruits, brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What else? Like avocado is my main base for a salad, though. It just gives me a great reason to consume some avocado.
Yeah.
You know.
So for you, you said you noticed the shift, like when you were on the fruits and then you were eating cooked, and there was a dip in that. What I guess what inspired you to like reintroducing cooked foods like more permanently?
The point that I started adding cooked foods permanently is when I got a good hold of it, and then I started experimenting with herbs. So it was more like experiment with fasting. It wasn't like a time where I was like, all right, it's time to go back to cooked foods, right? It was an experimentation with fasting, right? So when you fast, you kind of have to work in reverse, right? So you start with what you're eating with, you cut down on that, then you switch to vegetables. Okay, you switch to vegetables, whether they be cooked or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something that's easily digestible, right? And then you work your way down to fruits, and then you're eating fruits for a little while, and then it's nothing for a while. Okay. And that's because you have to let the body die. You have to let the body adapt. Okay. So when I would try to reintroduce foods, I would reintroduce raw salads and things like that. And I noticed I couldn't eat a lot of it. I was getting stomach aches and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe it's because I need to just be eating fruit. That's it. I just need to be eating fruit. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, Monica, you know, she does food, she does meal prep, and she also you know, she also makes great transitional meals. You know what I'm saying? So as she was doing this, you know, I noticed a lot of people were getting a lot of benefits from eating the cooked foods that she was making because they were clean, they were alkaline. These weren't processed foods or anything like that, right? So people were able to do more. There was people that reported, you know, I take a lot of notes too. You know, it's not just me, it's what other people experience. And there were people that were eating cooked meals and they were like, man, I haven't had cooked meal in so long and I just feel like a new person. Like I feel like this is what I was missing. Like it just gave me a new thing of life. Like it replenished my brain. I can think again, right? This is what happens. You know, this is just people's experience. If you just ask a lot of people, when they finally do get that cooked meal into their life, you know, but what happens to a lot of other people too is they'll eat cooked food fresh off a fast or after eating fruit for a long time, and then your body will seriously reject it. You know what I'm saying? Because of adaptation. Your body is amazing. Your body will adapt to whatever you constantly do to it. You know what I'm saying? It will adapt to it constantly for what you do to it. So your body, and once you understand that your body's always adapting, not just sometimes, your body's always adapting to what you do to it. Dude, it'll adjust itself from what you're doing right now. Your energy you got today was a setup from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? If I'm tired today early, that means I stayed up late last night. That's just your body always trying to adjust and compensate for what you do. So I think there's timing and rhythm in that too, of when you introduce foods back into your life and what foods you introduce back into your life. You know,
it kind of reminds me of what you were saying, like when I was asking you on sort of how to approach athletes, like if I'm trying to, you know, potentially get athletes involved in the lifestyle. You were saying like your body tells you what it needs. Like if you're working up, you know, whatever, a certain workload, and like it's going to tell you if it needs something else, and if it's not getting everything that it needs in this one thing. Yeah. So I guess for you, it like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is fasting the priority more than the actual diet, and does longer fast give you more leeway in your diet in terms of achieving that?
Absolutely not. I believe in short fast, bro. I believe in 24-hour water fast. I believe that's a great fast. I believe in 3 days of juice fast, because you can get some cleansing and get some things done without your body fully adapting to just that one way of being. That's why I call it being balanced, because I can eat completely raw or fruits for a whole month, right? And then I could eat a cooked meal and I would be okay. You know what I'm saying? But that one cooked meal, that would be all. That would be the thing that I need for the whole day. It would just be one cooked meal. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, when you're saying cooked, you can't be talking about, you know, frying, deep fried, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about steaming. I'm talking about baking. I'm talking about soups. I'm talking about things like that. Okay. Because I don't know, I didn't explain this more in detail. When you're cooking something, first of all, those anti-nutrients that we talked about, we don't have to worry about them anymore. Okay. Number two, these fruits, these vegetables that most people eat, when you try to eat them raw, it's tough. I'm just saying physically it's tough on you. You know, you got to try to break them things down. You got to chew them 90,000 times. And then you have to be able to absorb these foods, right? Absorption is the key. You can be putting all this stuff in your body, but if you ain't absorbing them, then what's the point? My biggest example of that is people that eat the standard American diet. They eat 4 meals a day. Shouldn't they be nutrient rich? They should be nutrient rich, right? but they're not because there's no nutrients available in that food. Your body is spending more time metabolizing the food and breaking down, spending all that energy, right? And then what does it get back in return? Very few minerals and nutrients in that food, right? So it tells you, you know what I'm saying? The most important thing that we're talking about here, I don't like to keep swaying the subject, but we're talking about minerals. And you're talking about minerals. What's the best way to get the minerals? And what's the best way to absorb minerals? Okay. That's all we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about evolution. We're talking about growth. We're talking about improvement, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about evolving. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about getting better, living longer as a people, not just a person, right? So when you start getting into that, you do the best thing that make sure you're going to have enough nutrients in your body. Your nutrients for signaling, nutrients are for all types of things in your body. It's the building material. It's literally the building material that your body needs. It's also for communication, for signaling. Okay, when communication lets down in your body, for cells can't communicate, and guess what? This is when all these conditions come about, because your cells can't even communicate. Your cells can't say, clean this, absorb this, take this here, take that there. Okay. Instead, your cells are becoming inflamed and stagnated, right? So you're not getting the right signal out. You know what I'm saying? So that means your hormones are all running kind of wild, right? Because what information are you giving? You know what I'm saying? To your body to fix itself if the signal's not clear. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about all the time, man. We're talking about nutrients and minerals. I think a lot of people, and I'm not just saying y'all, I think a lot of people overcomplicate when we're talking about this. That's why I understand people when they say, yo, I'm just going, these fruits is good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? That's simple, right? That's energy, that's electric. You know what I'm saying? But for people like me who want to get a more balanced nutrition, then you can't give up cooked food for 2 years and then all of a sudden decide you want to eat cooked foods again. You gotta there's something, right? There's something in that it's in biology. It's called hormesis, right? Where you purposely put a small amount of stress on your body so that your body can adapt and grow stronger from it, right? That's kind of what you have to do if you're going to eat a more balanced lifestyle. You can't be like 7 days juice and all of a sudden you want to eat a cooked meal. It shouldn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? It should be a very programmed thing. You know what I'm saying? Like for an example, Bobby got the fruit up till 5. Like, okay, so now I'm introducing the principle. All right, we're gonna fruit up, right? All day long. We're gonna put the electrolytes in our body. We're gonna stay hydrated, right? Because that's a big part of health. But then, you know, at 5, we're gonna eat a meal. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be your heaviest meal of the day. That's gonna be the last meal of the day. You know what I'm saying? After that, you let that digest or whatever, you know, and then you can safely consume more fruits or juice for the rest of the day. I think that's a solid plan. You know what I'm saying? Because it tells your body every time around this time, then I'm going to give myself a heavy meal. So you're almost prepping your body. It's another example of hormesis is what? Lifting weights, right? So you're purposely tearing down your muscles and your muscle fibers, right? Just so they can be built back up again, just so they can get stronger. So you're purposely doing that. Another thing is the cold baths that people got that they do. Them cold plunges. I don't know if you ever seen that. They take them cold plunges, right? It does something biologically in your body where your body starts producing human growth hormones. You know what I'm saying? So what does that tell you? You got to go through some shit to get through some things. You know what I'm saying? But here's the difference, okay? If you got chronic stress on your body, so if you're chronically stressing your body out, like if you're lifting all the time and not giving your body no time to repair, then you ain't going to get no progress, okay? So that's another thing where balance comes into play. So if I'm going to be consuming cooked meals every once in a while, and I have to prepare my body for it, that's why there's a change of seasons. You know, there's seasonal things. You know, the same fruits that are available in the summer ain't available in the winter or the spring or the autumn. You know what I'm saying? So we have to eat more according to nature. What does nature give us in the winter? They give us squash and all these other things. That's not saying you can't eat fruit in the winter. I mean, in the winter, because if you're around fruits, that's why I moved to Atlanta, so I can eat fruits all year round. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have to struggle and compromise my diet. Environment is important, so I wouldn't have to go and compromise and make compromises just to make sure I got my nutrients every day. You know what I'm saying? And a big thing that helped me was, of course, you guys know, was herbs. You know what I'm saying? My herbal blends, I always tell the Vegas story. When we went to Vegas in California, bro, that was the test for us. That was the road test, right? Everywhere we went, I thought Vegas would have some vegan options. I thought they would have more vegan options in restaurants. They just not. They didn't. They didn't have any vegan options. They didn't have any clean vegan options. Let's just say that. They had fried this, fried that. You know what I'm saying? The bad junk food. You know what I'm saying? Or the vegan junk food, right? But they didn't have any clean, places that you can eat, right? So what we did is Monica carries this black, like water bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like we just kept that water bottle filled up with ice, and we just took Soul Fuel Complete the whole time. I'm talking about for like 4 or 5 days straight. We just drank water until complete. And that told me a lot, bro. That told me a lot. Once we got over that initial, we need to eat at this certain time, we took our herbs and our herbs showed us the way. They was like, okay, I got you. I got you with 92 plus minerals a day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that made me want to share with other people. I was like, people got to know this. This is a major hack in the health community. That you can get herbs and then you can stay hydrated. You know what I'm saying? Because it's basically working like that was working like spring water. What spring water is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to pick up minerals along its journey. And then you drink that spring water and then you get those trace minerals, right? Well, I was taking them herbs and drinking water. You know what I'm saying? It was electricity. We had no dip in energy. We still did everything we needed to do. We was out gallivanting the town. There was one time where it was raining. We was out running around at night in Vegas when nobody was out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was indoors. You know what I'm saying? Because we wanted to be out. We wanted to be breathing fresh air. We didn't want the AC. And then, the first time we ate anything is we took a plane to Cali to my dad's house. And that was the first time we was able to go, my stepmother, she was able to go to the grocery store, the market, and get us some fresh things to eat. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first time that we ate on that whole trip. That trip was 2 weeks, bro. You see what I'm saying? So what does that tell me? Like, okay, if I wanted to, I could just take herbs if I wanted to. But I just saved it as a tool. That's just one way that I can achieve. I can get my minerals in and I'll be good. That was one way. You know what I'm saying? Another way is fresh fruits in the rising. You know what I'm saying? Fruit juice. I love citrus in the rising. Citrus does more than just one thing. You know what I'm saying? It not only cleanses you or help you cleanse from the night before, right? By giving you that citric acid, the real citric acid, but it's going to give you vitamin C. Okay. What is vitamin C? It is the catalyst to a lot of things that you're going to absorb later on in that day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help you absorb those leafy greens. That's going to give you all the calcium that you need. You see what I'm saying? So it's big for absorption, like, right? So you basically just find what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Until you're left with a whole toolbox of things. And then you can react to any situation. Like, all right, I'm about to go out all day. All right, I didn't eat all day. Okay, that's fine. I just took my supplements. I didn't feel the need to, I got to go to this restaurant and I got to order something off this menu because I got to eat today. It was never like that. You see what I'm saying? You should always be making choices based off of what's best for your body. And that's all my coaching is about, is trying to get people to make better choices, not perfection. If you're chasing perfection, you're never going to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's about making better decisions. Like, better decisions, what do I mean by that? You got to let people know, because if you don't, they'll think Chick-fil-A is a better decision than what they used to eat than Burger King. You know what I'm saying? When it's just not. They'll think Subway is a better choice than, most of the things that you're eating. It's just not. You see what I'm saying? Better choices means that, okay, before I would have lost my mind if I went out to vacation somewhere, right? And I couldn't find anywhere where I could eat, but I was on this plant-based diet and I had to eat clean, right? I would have panicked, right? So the better choice is now, oh, okay, it's cool if I didn't eat that day. I got over busy that day. And you know what? I took my supplements. Now it's nighttime and I don't want to eat nothing because if I eat something now, I'm going to basically become insulin resistant. You know what I'm saying? Because my body's going to start storing shit because it doesn't want to process after a certain time. This is just light signals that your body gives. And that's the circadian rhythm that I speak about. When it gets dark outside, your body doesn't want to break anything down. That's a signal. It's a code to your body, and you don't even get it in your mind. You get it on your skin through your eyes. That your body just says, "Oh, okay, yeah, we just going to slow it down now because we need to be able to put you to sleep." You know what I'm saying? To either replenish this energy, to go into repair mode, or you know what I'm saying, to digest this food that you ate all day. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what your body says. And then just another quick thing about adaptation while I'm on that subject, I don't sleep 8 hours a day. I don't sleep 6 hours a day. I sleep 4 or 5 hours a day. And is that because I'm stressed? No, it's just because the body's done repairing at that time. That was all I needed. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't spend all day eating 4, 5 heavy meals a day. You know what I'm saying? I ate what I needed for energy wise. You see what I'm saying? So I did my body a favor. So when it goes to try to repair and goes into its cleansing mode at night, it's like, okay, we done. We just do a little sweep job. You know what I mean? Sweep the floor and we out. You know what I'm saying? And we can go move on to better things. Okay, now where's that other thing that we had to heal? You know what I'm saying? Where's that cut in your skin that we got to go back to? Because it got to take care of first things first. You only got so much energy to provide. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take care of the most important thing, which is the most latest thing that it has to deal with. Okay, so that means if you was dealing with, your diabetes, right? It's not going to deal with the diabetes first. It's going to deal with its current situation. It was right now we got food that we need to move, because if this food doesn't move, then we're going to have more problems than just diabetes. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. It's so crazy, right? That because I'm accountability coach, right? I just hold you accountable to do what you say you gonna do.
Right.
I think we in the age of information overload, right?
Overload.
That's why I think people get confused. They go to this person, don't do this. They go to this person, don't do that, right? So you got to find your way and do what works best for you. Before we get out of here tonight, though, Tiger, you've been dropping some fucking gems, right?
Yeah.
Drop one on the state of what the food poisoning or the parasites or the chemicals on the fruit or whatever is going on. Can you speak a little bit about that? All
right. So it's called Cyclospora, right? That's what everybody's talking about now. That's what everybody's talking about. This parasite that everybody's talking about, right? It's not a bacteria, it's a parasite, okay? And here's the thing about this, I hate things like this. I really do. I even hate speaking on things like this because here's the thing. We've known that we've been dealing with parasites for a while now. Ever since when you come into the health game, that's one of the first things you learn about. Parasite cleanse, parasite detoxes and stuff like that, right? Here's the thing. Humans have been eating fruits and vegetables since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is our food source. I mean, some people say we was breatharian before they say we was eating the sun. Okay. You think this bacteria is new? You know what I'm saying? You really think this parasite is new? No, it's not. It's been around just as long as the food been around. Okay. Guess when they discovered this Cyclospora? Guess when they discovered it? 90s? 96? They discovered it, right? What do we know about it? We always got to talk about what do we know. because for this parasite to affect you, first of all, it has to spend time in the environment, right, to actually become infectious. Like it has to spend like at least a week there. So you got to be a dirty, you got to be a dirty person, okay, to really. I'm not talking about just physically dirty. That is a part of it too. That's another reason why I say there's a lot of people that don't believe in bathing and taking showers and stuff like that. Like these are reasons. Like you can't let this stuff stick around. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to wash. You got to take showers. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest reasons, right? So that tells you a couple different things. Like it has to stick around in your body. So what does that tell me? If my terrain is clean, if it's fit, right, to get rid of parasites, get rid of toxins and all that stuff, because I'm eating the stuff I'm supposed to be eating, I'm staying hydrated, I'm fruiting up, right? And I'm getting the minerals that I need for signaling, you know what I mean? So my lymphatic system can move the waste out of my body. If all that stuff is going right, guess what? We done had so many worms and parasites that moved in and out of our system from eating foods, especially raw foods, especially from eating raw apples and raw oranges and pears and stuff like that, where it's actually on the skin, strawberries, all types of shit. Reason why we never really get caught up in it, right, is because our terrains are fit to deal with that, right? This is just, all it is just, to me, it's fear mongering, right? Yeah. It's fear. They need you to be afraid. And this is what I was talking about. I said, is our success sometimes, does it know where they can put the bottleneck on us? You know what I'm saying? That is give them an idea to be like, oh, okay, these motherfuckers in the fruits right now. Let's do something to the watermelon. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it makes me think. You know what I'm saying? So another thing is, and guess another thing that you don't have to worry about cyclospora. Guess another thing. Cooked food, even steamed, lightly steamed, right? Even hot water will get rid of cyclosporia. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So that's I believe that's another thing that, you know, that tells you that there's some, you know, raw vegetables and stuff that we shouldn't be eating raw. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if you don't believe in, you know, if you don't believe in eating cooked food, then you should probably just eat fruits. You know what I'm saying? You probably shouldn't eat any type of other foods. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people choose sometimes, but there's nothing wrong with that. I never said that anything was wrong with just eating just fruit. The problem is when people say that, oh, you shouldn't be eating cooked food. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out of just eating cooked food. You know what I'm saying? Are you fresh off of Chick-fil-A last year? Now you're telling people not to eat cooked food. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been fasting for a year, or you've been mono eating or whatever. Of course, any type of food that you eat that's not fruit is going to have an effect on your body. That's why you feel bloated after you eat it. You know what I'm saying? It's not the fact that it's cooked. You know what I'm saying? But the way I look at it is cooked food is just a slower source of energy. You're going to get it later. Your body might store it until the next day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get rid of the waste. It's going to take a little bit while. It's going to take a little bit longer to move through your system. You need quick energy. You need it right now. The fruit's your way to go. You know what I'm saying? You need something that's going to hold your parasites down and tell them to shut up for a little while. Eat a cooked meal, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get most of that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to use a lot of those minerals before the parasites can get to them. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to have an overload so they can eat and you can eat too. You know what I'm saying? That's the only protection that you have against them. But yeah, as far as that cyclospora, that's the way I feel about it, man. It's just another way to scare people, and it's fairly new, like a lot of these other things. I believe it's man-made. You know, people argue with me about it. You know what I'm saying? I believe all these viruses are man-made. We have bacteria, and bacteria is here for a purpose too. You know what I'm saying? Right. Our creator don't make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Everything is recyclable without our participation. You know what I'm saying? This world works the same way as always that it has been without our participation. You know what I'm saying? And we could see that in instances and examples like COVID. You know what I'm saying? When people were staying in the house for a while, the waters was clean, trees was growing back. Now you seeing species that was extinct coming back. Like I remember we used to catch lightning bugs. We call them y'all call them fireflies or whatever. We used to call them lightning bugs. We used to put them in a jar and literally set them by your bed to light up your bedside. You know what I'm saying? Those disappeared. Where'd they go? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Where'd
crazy.
they go?
I ain't seen a lightning bug.
Oh, you know why? Because we don't have all this artificial light nowadays, right? They run on circadian rhythm. That's why we haven't seen them. And another thing is the soil. All these things that we do that makes nature worse is the reason why you don't see these things. Honeybees went away for a while after COVID. Now you're seeing bees back again. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have to worry for a while because I was allergic to them. I wasn't worried about. I was like good riddance. You know what I'm saying? But when you realize a part that they play in the ecosystem, you're like, damn, we need them. You know what I'm saying? Like we need them. It affects other things. It affects how our fruits grow. It affects how our herbs grow. All this stuff, right? So you start seeing these things coming back without our participation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel about that. This cyclospore or anything else that they can bring up. What was it? What was the last month, Bobby? Was it hantavirus? Well, on the ship, it was the hantavirus from the rats.
Yeah,
it's like they're doing a bang up job scaring the shit out of people. But the people that actually take that advice and listen to it, I feel like they never was down with the rhythm in the first place. Like they was just looking for an excuse not to do or not to eat fruits and not to eat vegetables. You know what I'm saying? So they can be like, oh, see, gotta go back to my Chick-fil-A because that ain't even safe. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather eat something that's good. At least it ain't gonna give me no diarrhea, right? One last thing that I'm gonna say about that cyclospora. Okay, I don't want people to confuse its symptoms with detoxing because look how they set that up so beautifully for fear, right? When you're detoxing, when you're eating certain fruits and you're on a certain type of fast, I know people that every time they do a juice fast, they have diarrhea. Okay. Does that mean the juice fast is poisoning you? Does that mean the juice fast you got parasites in your juice? No. You know what I'm saying? That just means you're purging. That means you're cleansing. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like everybody who's trying to cleanse or trying to go on this lifestyle, first sense of diarrhea they're going to think it's what? They're going to think it's the cyclospora. You know what I'm saying? So it's a perfectly planned psychological attack. That's what I feel about it.
You are on point with that. You know, we ain't dealt with nothing like that. I think, they're just trying to find something, right? This is why I didn't even know nothing about that until I think you asked me that you said something like we could talk about that. Like, I didn't know nothing about that because I'd be so much in my own world doing what I do, right? I trust the source. I trust the Most High. I'm good, right? And that's how you, in a sense, if you're not growing your own food or you got total control of it, what else do you have but trust, right? So you got to trust that you're doing the best things and your intentions in the best place. So, soulfuelblends.com.
Soulfuelblends.com, and I want to remind people that I worked tirelessly on this course, okay? Now, this course is for everybody. You can get in there for $10 a month and get some free information. You know what I'm saying? But for people who want to take their learning further, there's courses in there, man, and that you can be certified. You know what I'm saying? And
where's the course at, Tiger?
So right now, I got it at let me make sure. It's It's Solistic Wisdom Temple at teachable.com. Solistic Wisdom Temple at teachable.com. And you know what? Can I drop it in here? I don't know how I can drop it in here. I go to comments. I'll go to comment and post a comment. Give me a sec.
What is it? Holistic Wisdom?
No, Solistic Wisdom Temple. Solistic Wisdom Temple, right?
Yeah.
At teachable.com. I'm gonna drop it in here and let me know if you can see it. You know what? I'll share it in the chat too, so I can so you can grab it and repost it. because that's what I've been doing. I haven't been coaching for the last month. I haven't been on social media because I had to make sure this is right, man. Every video has visuals. Every video is no longer than 5 minutes. It has visuals. It has quizzes. It has downloadable info that you can keep forever. You know what I mean? I have a couple different deals. Like if you're an actual member, I mean, I know people calling me crazy for giving this type of discount, but I'm giving half off of a course. You know what I'm saying? Just for being a $10 member. So you can really get in there. If information is what you want and foundation is what you need, you actually want to know what you're talking about when it comes to herbs, when it comes to, I have one whole course. It's just called regenerative detox. It's basically what I've extracted from the detox courses that I took. So we cut out all the fat, all the other stuff that you don't, that it's just a blah, blah, it's just filler. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the stuff that really is helping people, okay? So we can have better choices and better options. And this is why I made this, because this course is going to outlive me. I'm going to constantly be adding information to it. I'm going to constantly be adding more courses. So it's a good opportunity to get in and get on the ground level and then build your certifications, build your knowledge. And it's not a certification to go show everybody to say, hey, look what I did. This is to say, look, I learned this knowledge. Now I know how the electrical body works. You know what I'm saying? Now I can tell body language. I can tell what my body's saying when I got a headache. You know what I'm saying? I know it can only be this, or this. You know what I'm saying? So now I know a couple different ways that I can approach it. Now let's try hydration if I got a headache, because 90% of headaches are due to dehydration. And then you start connecting stats and start seeing the patterns. 70% of Americans are severely dehydrated. Okay, that makes sense. Let me make sure I get my hydration up before I go reach for a Tylenol or an aspirin or run to the dollar store. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about getting better choices. And the way that I teach, with the feedback that I got, is I'm not only teaching a lesson, but I'm going back over the lesson. So I'm recapping the lesson before, because every lesson ties into another one. So it's kind of getting you the information and so you can under and overstand the information so you can deal with any other question or any other course that comes after that, right? And here's the biggest thing. With my course, I challenge people to question the information. Try to disprove it, okay? Because in order to disprove it, you have to go through it. You have to actually try it and apply it to be able to try to disprove it, okay? So it's basically foundations and information that you can use for life. It's just all about putting the right tools in the toolbox so you can decide when and where to use them. You know what I'm saying? So because the reason why I keep saying that in tools and toolbox and having accessibility and awareness, because you can have all the tools in the world, man. If you don't know how to use them and apply them at the right times, they're useless to you. You know what I'm saying? What's the use of having a strap under the bed, you know what I'm saying, all the time, when you don't take it out to the shooting range and you don't know how to use it? You know what I'm saying? If somebody break in your house and somebody do all this, what good is it being under your bed? You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing when you're out here dealing with this. It's really a psychological war. It's a physical and a spiritual war. So if you don't have the tools in order to deal with that, then, you just choose to perish. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Everybody's going to die. I know that's always the people. Oh, everybody's going to die. I'm just going to beat you into the grave a couple years before that. It's like, no, because when I die, I'm going to leave legacy with me, right? I don't care when I expire. I'm not afraid to die. I'm going to leave legacy, number one. For two, if I die, I'm leaving light. I'm leaving the same way that I came in here. I can't take none of this shit with me. I can't take none of these physical things with me. You know what I'm saying? But what I do have is I have divine knowledge and a good understanding, and I lived a full life, and I lived a life where I wasn't struggling all the time, and I left legacy so people can build on more after that. I don't know what happens after here. You know what I'm saying? We only have here, and we only have now. You know what I'm saying? There's young people dying all the time. I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying? We live in a world right now where Epstein got caught with all these dang files and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It shows all this terrible stuff that they were doing to children. Where are all the people that's I'm good about my kid? They ever did this to my kid? Well, it's happening here in America. They're taking children. You know what I'm saying? They're doing the most notorious thing that you could ever think about with these children. We live in this type of world. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that we are connected in a way that is not connected to the ways of this world. You know what I'm saying? That's when it becomes more spiritual. So when I leave here, I'm gonna be light without carrying burden and carrying stress and carrying trauma. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to live forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out why I'm supposed to be here, and I figured that out for myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's to grow. That's to adapt. That's to spread love. You know what I'm saying? And I understand there's other forces in this world, but that is not my force. That's not the way that I'm headed right now. Everybody's capable of all things in this world. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you find direction and purpose, I think that is everybody's purpose here, is to find direction, find what your direction and your purpose is, and live it to the fullest.
True statement. My brother Tiger Carper, Cameron, what a conversation. With some gems we hear tonight. You know, Tiger, you know, it's always great to hear your insight on things. And you know, I think your passion for what you do, anybody who questioning or who doubting that they should sign up for Tiger's program or course, you fooling yourself. Solisticwisdom.teachable.com. One of the sharpest in the game.
Crown, get you some complete. All
that's
that.
A fact. That's a fact.
In the game. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Thank y'all, man.
Taking crown every day, man. Yeah.
Just one of the best who doing it in the world, right? I'm not even just saying that because that's my brother. I tell people this all the time. When it comes to herbalists and it comes to teaching how we supposed to be living and giving knowledge, Tiger is probably one of the people I trust the most. And I've told Tiger that to him personally. So definitely always glad to have you on. Dope convo. We definitely go do it again. Cam, you got any final words?
That's all I got. Yeah, definitely want to continue this conversation in the future, though, because there's a lot more to unpack. So
yeah. If there's anybody out there that's got any questions or any information, you definitely reach out to me and ask those questions, because Bobby brings me on here. This was like my 5th time being on with Bobby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to answer the same questions. I didn't want to keep bringing up the same things. But I realized we got more people that's coming in. There's more people that follow me. There's more people that follow y'all. So if this is your first time viewing it, we welcome you to the information. And we don't ask you to follow it blindly. We ask you to apply and see if it works for you. If it don't, throw it out. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want you to hold on to anything that's not working for you. You know what I mean?
I got a saying in the Fruit Up to 5 community: information without execution is poverty.
Man.
Right? So you ain't going nowhere with the information if you ain't moving behind it. So get out there, do it, apply it. We're in the age of implementation. If you ain't implementing, then you losing, family. So super dope. My brother Tiger Carper, soulfuelblends.com, solisticwisdom.teachable.com. Get in that course, get to work. You wouldn't want to learn it from nobody else. Thank y'all for joining. We'll be back next Wednesday, or next Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll drop a bomb on y'all, let y'all know. Fruit the fuck up, family. We appreciate y'all, and let's work.
Let's get it. Have a great week, everybody.
Likewise.